You know, having a really cool wash setup at home is fantastic work on your own car, but you know, having to drag everything out and put it all back every time is a bit cumbersome. I was in that same boat, but we decided to do some upgrades. So stay tuned, I'm gonna walk you through this complete system next. Hi, I'm Todd Cooperrider with ESOTERIC. Here today to talk about options that you have for doing a home wash setup. If you've watched our at-home series before, go through a nice tutorial on the proper ways to wash your car. We'll make sure and link you to that. At that time, I had a more simple DI system and I had a more simple pressure washer, which did the job just fine. But it can be cumbersome having to take everything out, having to roll everything out, set everything up. And then once I'm done, I got to put everything back. Like many of you, I'm a busy person. I don't have time to do a lot of that. So we wanted to look at doing a built-in system here in my garage that I'm not having to completely re-engineer the space for. You're gonna have some issues that you run into. You're gonna have some compromises that you're gonna have to make, and I wanna walk you through that process of what I learned during this. Now, all of these things here, we obviously now have available at esotericcarcare.com. We're gonna have a couple different ways you can check it out. One, we're going to have a full page where you can buy all of the stuff that you want. You're gonna have some option boxes that you can click on, or you can go to the individual pages. Maybe you already have a couple of the components. When I was doing it here, I had a couple things to consider. First of all, I didn't have any water here in my garage. This house is only 7 years old, but never planned on having a water bib. So the first thing I had to do was hire a plumber, come in, take a look at where we can put water. Fortunately, right down there is my basement. I had direct access, and we figure while we're doing it, we might as well put both hot and cold water here. And the cool thing too, I had him install some valves down there, so in the winter, I can completely shut it off. But with that, I had space restrictions to deal with. I couldn't do it anywhere else in the garage. It pretty much had to be right here, and that dictated where the rest of the stuff is gonna go. So for you at home, if you've got water in your garage, great. If not, you got to look at where you can put it and configure everything else from there. Now, the main components that we have here, you know, one, obviously you have got your hose reel, which makes all the difference in the world. When you are washing your car, you just reel it out, immediately start washing, reel it back up. It is a game changer when it comes to the convenience factor of it. But you also have your DI water, deionized water filtration system. This one, as we've talked about in other videos, this is one of the absolute most important tools. Even if you didn't have a pressure washer and stuff, having filtered water makes all the difference in the world. You know, I've got a black car. Last thing you want to do is have to be washing it in the sun. You end up with water spots. This takes care of that. And then finally, you have a pressure washer that's going to hook it all up. Okay, let me go back and go through some of the things to consider when we're piecing this together. Like I said, when I did it, had this done, I went in and installed these PVC boards. I got them at, I believe, at Home Depot, just to give me some extra bracing on this wall, because I knew I had some heavy stuff that was going to be put on. So I did this at the same time we did the water bib. Then I took a look at it to try to figure out where things need to go. Because this sits up so high, I couldn't just put the DI system right above it. Otherwise, stuff would be up at the ceiling. So I knew it had to go down to the side and kind of out of the way. You got your CR spotless system. You've got 3 different options that you can go there. You've got the larger unit like I have here. You've got the smaller unit. Both of those systems are nice because they have got the TDS monitor built right in. You can see what your water level is at. You also have the simple chuck system that I had before, which was really nice, but you can't mount it to the wall and it doesn't have a TDS monitor in it. It will give you more filtration capacity, but you know, you give up a couple of other things in terms of convenience. Then you go up to your hose reel. This is, you know, from MTM, super nice hoses, really flexible. If you've worked with any kind of pressure washers before, they're usually really stiff. You know, it ends up coiling up and hitting up against the side of your car. You don't have that with this. In here, you're gonna have a couple of options. You have a 50-foot hose option. You have a 100-foot hose option. And when you select the hose size, that is going to determine which reel comes with it, because it's going to be a bigger reel for the 100-foot hose. I went with a 50. You know, I can wash my car a few feet away from here. It's all that I need. Then you've got the AR Blue pressure washer. We use this exact same one at our shop. You know, more of an industrial strength pressure washer. It's not very loud at all. I believe specs on it, 1900 PSI. Really nice setup. Go onto the website, you can get all the individual details of it. But a couple things about this. This thing weighs 62 pounds without any water in it. It is a heavy, beefy unit, which is why we have these really nice stainless steel wall-mounted brackets that are going to be able to withhold this kind of weight. You know, depending on how you have your setup, you want to mount it up, you really need to have one of these to go along with it. All right, now, what other things do you have to consider? What are you going to get with these kits? What don't you get with a kit? You know, you can't simply provide everything because everybody's mounting, you know, what it's going up against is going to be different. How far away your DI system is going to be, that's different. You got all the different hose sizes. You're going to get a line that connects from here up to your pressure washer. You're going to get a line that goes from here to your hose reel. Now, the one that you're going to have to provide is going to be the one that goes from the hose bib to your DI system. And you have to figure out how far you want it. Most people, you can just use a hose that you have around the house to connect that. And like I said, if your DI system is much further away from your hose bib, you need a longer hose. And see the line that I have, I wanted to match things up. So I went and had a custom one made. This is for a company that supplied washing machine hoses, so I can keep everything nice and clean. Now the other thing that you're gonna have to provide, and if you're a DIY person, you probably have all this stuff sitting around in your toolbox, but you're gonna have to come up with your mounting hardware for this bracket. You're gonna have to come up with your mounting hardware for this piece right here. And you're gonna have to come up with the mounting hardware for this against the wall. Like I said, what kind of wall going into studs, not going into studs, that's gonna dictate what you need. If you feel that is beyond your DIY capacity, you can just hire a plumber. They can come in, they can hook all this stuff up, stuff they do every single day. So it took me a couple hours worth of work, kind of figure out, I think it was a trip or two to Lowe's and get whatever hardware and stuff that I needed. But once I got it all hooked up, I mean, it's a difference maker. Being able to simply push a button, reel out the hose, connect my MTM hydro foam cannon, boom, I'm washing the car, or if I need to do a quick rinse off, it's right there. And then all I gotta do is reel that back up. Okay, I wanna go back to this real quick as far as your on and off button. The nice thing about this is self-activated. You turn it on, it will turn itself off if you're not flowing water through here, which is super nice because you're out there washing the car, you wanna put your hose down, you don't have to come back and turn this off. It's gonna shut itself down. When it senses the flow of water again, it's gonna turn itself back on. That auto on off is a huge function. Another thing about this you wanna consider, particularly if you have an older home, this runs off of a 20 amp circuit. If you don't have a 20 amp outlet in your garage, it's not gonna work. It's going to trip it. You know, for me over here, I had a couple things hooked up to it. You know, this house was built in the last 7 years, so I've got 20 amp circuits. But on this same circuit, I have got units over here that run all my outdoor lighting. Well, my outdoor lighting is running only at night. I'm not gonna be washing my car at night, so I'm not worried about it. I'm not tripping any circuits. I don't have anything else drawing a lot of power. If you don't have a 20 amp circuit, you might be getting a hold of an electrician. At the same time, you might be getting a hold of a plumber to get everything done right. I said, this is a huge difference maker. You know, this is going to be for the person who already has a house, already have your garage. You want a more intensive system for washing your car. It's gonna save you a lot of time, but you're not wanting to go in and completely remodel your garage or your house to make this happen. I was out the other night washing with this the first time. What's the first thing that happens when my neighbors wants to come over and take a look? Oh, what's that, you know, that you got set up there? This is really cool. A lot of people don't realize that you can do a nice professional grade system in your own home. I said, go to our website, esotericcarcare.com. We're gonna put some links down in the description where you can go in, you can look at all the different details. It's gonna help you walk through the process of putting together your perfect system that's gonna meet the needs for your house. As I talked about earlier in the video, we have a complete at-home wash video we're gonna link you to. Make sure you check that out. It's gonna give you all of the techniques and tips you need to wash your car at home like a pro with your new equipment. As always, we appreciate you hanging out with us here on the Esoteric channel. Thanks, We look forward to seeing you in our next video.